Welcome to the English Effect. I am so glad you're joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
So today we are doing a deep dive into something we all have to do, but nobody really likes doing. We are talking about how to apologize sincerely.
Yeah, it's not a fun topic, but it's such a crucial real-world English skill.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to look at some linguistic research and communication guides. We want to help you learn how to navigate awkward daily mistakes using simple, practical English.
Right, the kind of English you actually use in a cafe or traveling or, at work.
For sure. So to start, I want you to imagine this. You are in a crowded cafe. You turn around just a little too quickly and splash.
Oh, no. The classic coffee disaster?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just dumped a hot latte all over a stranger's clean white shirt. Complete panic sets in, right?
Yeah.
What is the very first thing you should say in English?
Well, it is terrifying. And what usually happens is our brains just sort of freeze. We mumble or we get defensive because we feel threatened.
Right, which is exactly why we need to practice this. So let's start with the absolute basics. Everyday accidents.
Yeah, let's start with the foundational vocabulary word here, which is apologize.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Just simply saying, you are sorry for doing something wrong.
Exactly. So think about the most common daily mistake. You are walking outside, maybe looking at your phone.
Which we all do.
Right, and you bump right into someone.
Ouch.
Yeah. For these small slips, the best phrase to use is, I'm sorry, it is my fault.
It is my fault.
Yes.
That is our next big vocabulary word. Fault.
Yes. Admitting it is your fault is just a highly natural way to take full ownership of the mistake.
Okay, I want our listeners to actually practice this. I am going to pause for a second so you can say this out loud wherever you are listening. Ready?
Yeah.
Say, I'm sorry, it is my fault.
It feels a little scary to say that out loud, doesn't it?
It really does. It's
Yeah.
kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
It hurts for a second to admit you made a mistake,
Yeah.
but it is the absolute fastest way to stop the awkwardness.
Exactly. You are basically taking away their reason to be angry.
Okay, so if I say, it is my fault, how should the other person respond in casual English?
They might use simple phrases like, don't worry, or never mind.
Oh, never mind is a good one.
Or even, it doesn't matter. These are just perfect for keeping things friendly and informal.
Right, they release the tension. But what if the mistake isn't just a physical accident? What if you leave someone waiting?
Ah, right. Time. That gets a little trickier. The stakes are slightly higher here.
Yeah, because now you need more than just a quick sorry. You need an explanation.
Right. So imagine you miss the bus or, your car breaks down and you have an important coffee date.
And you show up 20 minutes late, sweating.
Exactly. Here, we have to know the crucial difference between making an excuse and giving an honest explanation.
An excuse versus an explanation. Okay, break that down for us.
Well, an excuse usually sounds defensive. You are trying to shift the blame away from yourself.
Like saying, I'm sorry, I just had a lot on my plate today.
Yes, exactly. A lot on my plate. It sounds like you are saying your time is more important than theirs.
Yeah, it's a bit rude.
An explanation just states a cold, hard fact without dodging responsibility. Like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I couldn't come earlier because my car has broken down.
Okay, I see. But wait, let me push back a little here.
Sure.
If I keep explaining why I am late, isn't there a danger that I just sound like I'm whining? Like, oh, my car broke down and traffic was bad and my alarm didn't go off.
Oh, totally. That is a very real danger. And that is why we introduce our next vocabulary word, which is regret.
Regret.
Yes. Regret means feeling sad or disappointed about a choice you made. So you say, my car broke down and I really regret not taking the train.
Ah, love that. I regret not taking the train. That changes everything.
Right. It shows you are reflecting on your own actions. You aren't just blaming the broken car. You are taking responsibility for your choice.
That makes a lot of sense. So we have small physical slips and we have being late. But what about, real disasters?
Yeah, if making excuses is bad for being late, it is a total disaster for major mistakes.
For sure. Like the sources gave this example. What if your naughty puppy chews up your friend's favorite cherished book?
Oh, that is the worst.
Or what if you aggressively snap at a colleague during a work meeting?
Yeah, a simple, sorry, my fault will not work there. We have to upgrade to a formal, professional framework.
Right, leaving the casual phrases behind.
Exactly. The psychology sources, specifically Shosher and Darley, give us a 4-step framework for this.
4 steps. Okay, what is step 1?
Step 1 is to express remorse.
Express remorse, meaning show how bad you feel.
Yes. And here we move from informal to formal English. We add an intensifier. We say, I sincerely apologize.
Sincerely, that is a great vocabulary word. It means genuinely from the bottom of your heart.
Right, it adds weight.
Yeah.
Then, step 2 is to admit responsibility.
Okay, so owning what you did.
Yes, and this is where people mess up a lot. You have to apologize for your action, not their reaction.
Yes. Oh, I have an analogy for this. A bad apology is like a cheap umbrella.
A cheap umbrella.
Yeah. It looks totally fine when the sun is out, right?
Mm,
But the second a real storm hits, it just collapses.
that is exactly it.
Like when someone says, "I'm sorry people were offended." That's a terrible, cheap apology.
Because they aren't admitting responsibility, a real statement is, I'm sorry I said that.
Exactly. Okay, so step 1 is sincerely apologize. Step 2 is admit responsibility.
What is step 3?
Step 3 is make amends.
Make amends. That's our next phrase. What does that mean practically?
It means taking actual physical action to fix the problem.
Oh, okay. So not just words.
Right. For the chewed-up book, making amends means you actually go to the bookstore, spend your money, and buy a new copy.
You take action to repair the damage. I like that. And step 4.
Step 4 is to promise action. Like, I will put my puppy in another room next time. You promise you won't do it again.
Right. Showing that you actually learn from the mistake.
Exactly. So that is the 4-step framework for formal or serious situations. Express remorse, admit responsibility, make amends, and promise action. But after you do all that, you basically just hand the power over to the other person, right?
You do. It is entirely up to them how they react.
Which brings us to 2 more vocabulary words: forgive and blame.
Right. To forgive means to stop being angry with someone.
And to blame someone means holding them responsible for the bad thing that happened.
Yes. So if you do the 4-step apology well, a great friend might say, please don't blame yourself.
Don't blame yourself.
Oh.
That is such a kind thing to say. It means they value the friendship more than the mistake.
It is very kind. But what is really fascinating is how receiving an apology changes depending on where you are in the world.
Oh, right. The university research on cultural differences. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so researchers looked at how people expect apologies to happen across different cultures. They asked people what they expect if a stranger bumps into them on the street.
Okay, a minor accident.
Right. And they found that Americans often expect a really highly intense apology.
Wait, really? For just a small bump on the street?
Yeah. They expect earnest conversation, strong eye contact, and phrases like, please forgive me, I'm so sorry.
That seems like a lot for just bumping into someone.
It is. But in contrast, the research showed that people in places like Lithuania or China might opt for much simpler, subtle responses.
Like what?
Just a quick, excuse me.
So if I use an intense American-style apology for a minor mistake in one of those countries, might I seem, I don't know, overly dramatic?
Oh, absolutely. You would seem very dramatic. The degree of an apology is highly tied to cultural norms.
That is so interesting. You have to read the room, essentially.
You do. You have to match your English to the situation and the culture.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. We have covered so much ground today.
We really have. From the cafe to the office.
Right. We started with a quick, it's my fault for a small slip, and then we looked at sincerely making amends using that 4-step framework for the big stuff.
And we learned not to make defensive excuses when we are late.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, try to use these phrases naturally in your daily routines.
Yes, practice saying them out loud. It really helps.
And to help you practice, we would love for you to leave a comment. Use one of today's vocabulary words like regret, sincerely, or make amends, and tell us a quick story about a time you had to apologize.
I can't wait to read those.
And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to The English Effect.
Yes, please do.
But before we go, I want to leave you with one final, kind of surprising detail from our business sources to just ponder on your own.
Oh, the legal part. This is wild.
It is. Did you know that in some countries and regions, the law might interpret a formal apology as an actual admission of legal liability?
Meaning, legally, you are saying you are guilty.
Yes. So before you offer a huge formal apology on behalf of your entire company during an international business crisis.
You might want to check with a lawyer first.
Exactly. Sometimes saying I'm sorry can get you sued. Just something to think about.
It's a great point to end on.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time on The English Effect. Keep practicing.